You've suggested that the Republicans change the paradigm when it comes to illegal immigration from Mexico. You said basically grant an amnesty, but then enforce it. Why would pandering to ethnopolitics make things better? Why would those illegal immigrants suddenly become Republican? Isn't that giving up?
Well, actually, there are some who had epiphanies the morning after Election Day in 2012 and decided that amnesty was the way to go for illegal Hispanic immigrants. I wrote that column in April of 2006. I wrote it during the Bush administration when the Republicans had control of the two houses. I wrote a column advocating enforcement, meaning you shut the border with a fence the same way the Israelis have had a successful fence. They haven't had a terrorist attack across the border in 6 years, and I can assure you that a terrorist on his way to kill has more incentive to cross a border than a Mexican landscaper looking for a job. A fence works. We can do a fence, we seal the border. And I argued this entirely on the merits. There was nothing in that argument in 2006 about Hispanics and the vote or anything. This is on the merits. The reason I brought it up again after the election is I never got a hearing in 2006 or 2008 every time I brought it up. Now I get a hearing because it'll appeal to Republicans who think it might help them electorally and it win. But the merit is this. We're not going to deport 12 million illegals. And we don't want them living in the shadows simply because we're a humane society. But we don't want to encourage another 12 million. So you seal the border. You get the 4 governors of the southern states to sign an affidavit that the border is closed, that the river of immigrants is now a trickle. And then you say, we'll give legalization to those who are here because they will be the last cohort of illegals. Once Americans come to believe that these 12 are the last to get in, we did this with Reagan. He thought he got enforcement and amnesty. He only got amnesty. But once people have the sense that this is the last cohort, they will be generous, they will be humane, they will be American, and they will legalize them. Not citizenship, they don't vote, but they get legalization so they can live outside the shadows. That's the solution to the problem, on the merits. I do believe that if Republicans were to change their view and adopt mine on the merits, it would have an effect on the Hispanic vote.
In Canada, until about 10 years ago, minority communities voted overwhelmingly for the Liberal Party. But through shifting away from the politics of ethnic spoils, handouts, multicultural grants, towards values-based policies, the Conservatives have taken over most of the minority communities, Chinese, Korean, Jewish. Is there a lesson to be learned, or are some of the racial divides in America just too intractable for historical reasons?
Not at all. I think you're absolutely right. There are lessons that we can learn from you. It stands to reason that as immigrants assimilate, they become, with the second and third generation, they begin to imitate politically the native population. So all the factors that would lead the first generation to be attached to one or the other party would become weakened over time. And then you can appeal to them, as you say conservatives have here in Canada, on the basis of economic policy or values or whatever. So I don't believe there's anything fixed about the allegiance of the Hispanic vote. There is something about the black vote, young people, especially the young person's vote, and unmarried women. Those are 3 constituencies that are inherently liberal. And that's why Republicans have a hard time appealing to them as the conservative party. So that's never going to change. But you get other constituencies and you can win, as Reagan did, as Bush did, etc. The one anomaly is the Hispanic vote, which should be Republican, should be conservative. They're culturally conservative, they're Catholic, they're religious, very heavy emphasis on families. So they should be, but the problem is immigration. That's called the threshold issue. They feel Republicans are hostile, they won't listen to the other arguments. And I say get rid of that immigration problem on the merits, and because it will help Republicans electorally. And then you will see over time Hispanics will begin to vote like the rest of the population.